This is your wise-ass astrologer. Why our ass is strolling along, singing our song, side by side. As the song by K-Star goes, K, you are a star, and the sun in Libra is a mighty fine star that shines a light on everything, side by side, including our mighty fine asses, side by side. Shine a light on both sides of the booty, baby. Really? Both sides of the booty? Baby, we can debate back and forth. Do we want to be a star for all the world to see? Or do we just want to be a star in our own mind? It's okay. You can shine in both places. Indecision and contrast is celebrated as art. That's what the sun in Libra shows us. But while we are deciding, while we are waffling back and forth, Mars in Cancer is giving the emotional feel, the emotional pull to get involved right now, to act, which is great. Everyone should feel the need to act. But if there's deep prejudice buried in our heart, deep neglect to shine a light on both sides, well, it's going to be exposed in our actions if we don't get this imbalance out of our systems. But luckily, there is a conduit that will help us go deep and find the love that we've been neglecting to shine on one side of ourselves, one side of the world, or one side of the waffle. That syrup's got to seep through both sides, baby. You want to be waffling like a pro. That's what I'm telling you. The sun in Libra can shine a light on both sides of our waffle ass. And with Mars in Cancer and Venus in Scorpio, carrying takes us from one extreme to the other. They have protests in the streets. Breasts not bombs. What does this mean? Tears not fears. Tortellini not fettuccine. What does this mean? Well, I'll tell you what it means, lads. And lasses too, I suppose, depending on which side of the waffle you are on. First, let's start with Mars in Cancer. Yes, the sun is in Libra, but it's receiving a 90-degree square from Mars in Cancer. With Venus in Scorpio thrown in the waffle mix for good measure, yeah? Mars in Cancer is ruling and making a flowing 120-degree trine to Venus in Scorpio. Venus in Scorpio is ruling the sun in Libra, and then the sun in Libra makes an edgy 90-degree square to Mars in Cancer. So when the planet Mars asks us why do we take action, Mars in Cancer replies, why do we take action? Because getting emotionally involved can make us cry an orgasm. It's getting on the world's waterfall. Getting emotionally involved in the world's waterfall. Emotions can change every few days, but the world's feelings change every few days, because the sign of the moon changes every few days. Cancer is a cardinal sign, the start of the element of water, ruled by the moon. So with Mars there now, our feelings can make us want to act before we understand the depths of our emotions sometimes. So that's why the quickly moving moon placement matters when another planet is transiting the sign of Cancer. But whatever sign the moon is in, we have to act on these feelings the universe pumps out. Sometimes the waterfall is so incredible that we feel that this is the ultimate wave and we have to get on it. When our brains are pumping out waterfalls of straight dopamine, our feelings will drive us. Our moods have mojo. Our moods can make our brains want to fuck. Our moods can make our energy pulse. But with this, sometimes saying, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. Sometimes saying, I don't feel like it is a legit reason for not doing something. A legit instinct that we shouldn't be doing something. Something that we would normally otherwise want to do. Mars in Cancer acts on a feeling. If we care and we feel into it, we'll do it. To quote a line from the movie Office Space, it's not that I'm lazy, it's that I just don't care. But with Mars in Cancer, we do care. Moody motherfuckers we may be, but we do care. We do give a flying fuck. So with Mars in Cancer and Venus in Scorpio, if you give a flying fuck, then you are indeed fly as fuck, a moody motherfucker with a cool style. Mars drives the brain, the gonads, the reproductive organs, and your lovely asshole, via its rulership of both Aries and Scorpio. The sign of Cancer encompasses the esophagus, the stomach, and the breast, and Mars in Cancer drives the cycle of dopamine, prolactin, and oxytocin. So with this, our parasympathetic nervous system actively engages based on feeling. You have to unwind and allow yourself to flow with the currents of a powerful waterfall to be at your strongest. So when our parasympathetic paratrooper really does give a flying fuck, we will be rewarded with a feeling of dopamine, letting us know that we really are dope-ass astrologers. Fly as fuck in this moment of the universe. And this is lovely. You know what? Use Venus in Scorpio to tell your asshole how lovely it is, so it won't be so paranoid. That's really the highest octave of Venus in Scorpio. Giving warm compliments to your asshole so it won't be so paranoid. And so it won't get dehydrated as it tries to balance from one extreme to the other. So does this mean we should show love to assholes on the other side of the political spectrum? Yes, you should. But you shouldn't neglect to show love to the assholes on your side of the political spectrum as well. There are Scrooges and Stooges on both sides. There are rubes and boobs on both sides. And Mars in Cancer knows that sometimes boobs can have a powerful force in the world. Now my peeps watching in Philly say, whoa, whoa, yo, We know you from the neighborhood. You're not Ruby with the boobies. You're the wise-ass astrologer. Is this a rebrand? You're a dope-ass astrologer, but keep it real, yo. This is true. I am not Miss Ruby with the boobies. I am the wise-ass astrologer. And my friend Nadia, you might know her. She's the astrologer that promotes me for some strange reason. She's always talking about staying both true to yourself while also staying on brand. And quite frankly, Miss Ruby with the boobies does not represent who I am as an astrologer or as a person. But I have to acknowledge that boobies are a force to be reckoned with in the metaphysical world right now. The contrasting themes within Mars in Cancer square the Sun in Libra forces us to shine a light on both sides of the current situation. And with Venus in Scorpio, we have to stay true to diplomacy when things get intense, ensure that our heart is not 100% numb to the other side. But clashing with that aim, Mars in Cancer tells us we do have to feel the activities going on in the world, how emotional people are, the waterfall that pours out without a care about being fair. It pours out to do what needs to be done to nourish those in the most extreme situations, so they can be rehabilitated to the point where they can one day be strong enough to have choices they can make. This is the conduit of the 120-degree trine from Mars in Cancer to Venus in Scorpio that flows easily and really helps us through things right now. And so that's why, with Mars in the Sun of Cancer, I'm out here on the campaign trail talking about active boobies ahead of the U.S. presidential election. And that's why I'm shining a light on both sides. John and Paul, for sure, but also George and Ringo, too. Mars in Cancer forces us to bring comfort to our esophagus, stomach, and breast. The Sun in Libra shows us we have to balance our protein, fluid, and sodium intake, and shows us we have a choice. And when you find yourself outside Pat's or Gino's around 3 a.m. in South Philly and want to nourish yourself with protein, you have a choice. You can order your cheesesteaks with Wiz or with WiseAss. The truth is, you don't want cheese whiz dripping down your esophagus at 3 a.m. And you don't really want cheese whiz dripping down your cleavage at 3 a.m. either. That's why it's much better to have your bosom smothered with WiseAssAstrology to actively nourish the world with, rather than having your bosom smothered with cheese whiz. But WiseAss, what's wrong with having queso in your pecho? Why can't that be nourishing? Look, there's nothing wrong with queso on your pecho, but if you're out there projecting breast nut bombs and your emotions are the equivalent of cheese whiz, you've got to step your game up, step your emotional game up. For my friends in Brazil, the Brazilian cheese whiz brand is catupiry. And well, you don't want to be catapulting catupiry from your nipples either. And for those zoning out while watching my video and asking, what is your point again? The point is that when Mars is in the sign of Cancer, our nipples have a point. Our nipples are pointed out and ready to take on the world, ready to transform the world. When we are ready to take action, we have to be in tune with the instincts and feelings of the world. And our emotions have to have real feeling, not cheese whiz feeling. So I'm going to tell you a story to make my point. So I was in London. Hey, WiseAss, London is nowhere near Philadelphia. Thanks, WiseAss geographer, I know. So I was in London because someone's nipples magically launched me to London. Whose nipples, WiseAss? Well, lads, because old Mother Earth's magical nipples launched me to London. And I was walking down the street in London and some bloke meowed at me. Now some might say, whoa, that's powerful shit. Some bloke meowed at you? Yes, I concur. That is indeed powerful shit. At the time I thought, well, I just played piano at an open mic a block away, and it was not too far from Abbey Road, in fact, where the Beatles pose for their famous album cover. Anyway, I thought to myself, maybe the ghost of John Lennon inhabited this man's body and made him meow in approval of my music. But in retrospect, maybe he meowed at me because he was horny. Now look, I know as an astrologer I should have asked this guy for his birth date and birth time to figure out exactly why he meowed at me. And I'm sorry, that was very irresponsible of me not to. But I didn't. I continued on to my bus stop, like a cool cat, satisfied that I'm so emotionally in step with the world that I can make people's nipples hard enough that they want to meow. So I'm sure you are all very impressed that strange London men meow at me on street corners. But how is that relevant to Mars in Cancer? Because through its control of both Scorpio and Aries, the planet Mars influences our gonads, our brain, our upper skull, and our noses. So when Mars is in Cancer, our noses can make a moody sound as a way to be aggressive, like a meow. So write meow. Any fans of the movie Super Troopers? So write meow, meow if you're hungry, meow if you're horny. It's okay to make a whiny sound when you orgasm if it is a cool cat style, yeah? We need to nourish our brains. We need to nourish our gonads, nourish our prostate. Mars in the sign of Cancer can play a role in nourishing your prostate because tomatoes, even though they increase stomach acid, which is a very Mars in the sign of Cancer thing, studies say that tomatoes are also good for your prostate because they contain lycopene. And again, Mars in Cancer is both ruling and trining Venus in Scorpio. So use your stomach to help Venus in Scorpio be nice to your prostate, if you have one. Tomatoes, lycopene, Venus in Scorpio. And if you like lycopene, meow or give it a thumbs up. The flow from Mars in Cancer to Venus in Scorpio is Miss Ruby with the boobies to Miss Cleo with the clit ring. Here's the thing. When we are emotionally passionate about something now, our breasts will feel it, and our sexual style will come out like a 20-carat stud. When you truly feel the physical in the metaphysical, that's when your sexual beauty will intensify. You got that, Diamond Dick? Hey, who you calling Diamond Dick? Hey, it's a Venus in Scorpio compliment. One last thing on Mars in Cancer, Venus in Scorpio, and the Sun in Libra. Getting fluid out of your system can be intense, but be careful about abusing diuretics, especially as Venus moves towards a trine with Neptune in Pisces. Mars in Cancer can be actively maternal, and Venus in Scorpio can sometimes be manipulative in ways that can be both good or bad. But be careful of manipulating people and calling it motherly love. Like if you have a lover who is deprived of mothering, they really want mothering, and you're emotionally manipulating them by peeing on them and calling it mothering, I'm not sure it's really the same thing as mothering. But if you disagree, you can state your case in the comments section. Okay, so Jupiter goes retrograde in Gemini on October 9th, and it will be retrograde until February 4th of 2025. So we need to reflect on what we need to do to move forward. There's lots of different options to ponder when thinking about how we want to move forward. So we need to reflect on all these different options. And reflect on that the 9th of October, John Lennon would have been 84 years old. If he wasn't assassinated by that fucking asshole. Sorry, I didn't mean to get angry. I have to stay balanced, no matter how angry I feel. That's the advice I've been giving you for the transit of the Sun in Libra square Mars in Cancer. So now I'm going to go into the remaining moon transits that are guiding Mars in Cancer, up to October 31st. Tie your shoes, tie your shoes, tie your shoes. When the moon joins Saturn in Pisces, it's very important to have our shoes tied, so our feet can spring up, especially because Saturn's ruler, when in the Sun of Pisces, is Jupiter, which is now in the Sun of Gemini and squaring it. So our hands are learning how to make all different kinds of knots to support our feet. So come out to support the feet, bro, on October 13th to October 15th, 2024. Saturn will be in Pisces, Neptune will be in Pisces, the moon will be in Pisces, and Mars will be in Cancer. Oh, and Mercury enters Scorpio on October 13th too. So it becomes a waterfall of our obsessive analysis, penetrating wit, and perverted thoughts. And we will use all these to write poems in sexual fluids on the bathroom floor. And our feet stick to the ground. So absorb the weight of your feet. The world is checking you out from the ground up. The world feels your weight on it, and then it pushes you back up to keep your emotional cycle flowing. We can only pour out what we take in, and we have to accept we take in a lot of different things with Jupiter and Gemini. That's what makes things interesting. That's what makes us feel we are really living. All these connections can emotionally overwhelm us. It can make us yearn for more. It can make us addicted to feelings, because these feelings energize us and make us actively care. So my shoes always fucking seem to be untied, especially with Saturn now in Pisces transiting my second house. And people on the street are always telling me my shoes are untied. They say, hey wise ass, tie your shoes. Jupiter's in Gemini, wise ass, tie your fucking shoes, yo. Dude, Saturn's in Pisces, don't be stepping on your shoelaces like a dumbass. And I think, how nice of them. They genuinely do care. What a great moon they have. But if I was a woman, I'm not a woman, but if I was a woman, I would be genuinely suspicious that they are just trying to get me to reach down and tie my shoes so they can look down my blouse top. And you might say, what makes you think that if you were Madame Wise Ass, that pervy Frenchmen would be lining up around the corner just to sneak a peek down your top? Look, that's how many men are, and so every man is a child. We can feel especially childlike when the moon goes into Aries, but sometimes we have to honor that inner child. So as part of the Aries full moon ritual, when the moon goes into Aries on October 15th, I will call on every moon child to meow at your man-child astrologer. Yo moon child, meow at your man-child. Or, to put it more bluntly, holla at your boy. Because the moon and Mars mutual reception with Aries and Cancer goes back and forth between being moody and emotional and blunt and direct. So, yes, the full moon occurs in the morning on October 17th with the moon in Aries and the sun in Libra. And that's nice and all. But what really drives this full moon is the powerful Moon-Mars mutual reception in the signs of Aries and Cancer. Meaning the moon is in one of the signs ruled by Mars, Aries, and Mars is in Cancer, the sign ruled by the moon. Not only that, they will be making an edgy 90-degree square to each other as well. Now what are the themes here with this particular mutual reception? Good instincts, quick instincts, checking people out quick, meowing at people to urgently get their attention. Women can check out guys so fast before the guy even realizes it. And they can make a decision in their brain like that. It's the instincts of the eyes, ears, and nose. And I'm going to make a decision in my brain to tell a story. Check it out. So I was walking in Hyde Park in London, and I was making eyes with this woman walking towards me. And all of a sudden some guy zooming by on his bicycle screams that he's going to hit me if I don't move. He didn't meow, he just screamed. Now the competitive instinct of the Moon in Aries would say, "Fucking asshole on a bicycle. He screwed up my 5-second relationship with this woman. He's trying to compete with me. Fucking trying to interrupt me making eyes with this woman that I saw first." But the instinctive and caring side of the Moon in Aries says, "I understand. It was more important that neither me nor the guy on the bicycle got hurt." Like, that's the emotionally urgent need with the Moon in Aries. And the ears need to hear that urgency. And the full Moon in Aries, as the Sun in Libra, shines some light on the situation, clarifying that he was actually really nice. He wasn't an asshole at all. It's my fault, really. I'm very absent-minded, always thinking about music and astrology, and occasionally broken out of my reverie by some stranger that wants to flirt with me. But when the Moon goes into Taurus, you need emotional caring that isn't instant and that lasts more than 5 seconds. The Moon will begin Taurus from October 17th to October 19th, 2024. I, your wisest astrologer, actually have my natal Moon in Taurus, at the end of my 4th house, and in my natal chart, my Taurus Moon rules my 7th house in the sign of Cancer. So I'll just sit there with you like you're an ice cream cone, waiting for however long it takes for you to melt in my mouth, like warm milk. But enough about me. This Taurus Moon has its ruler Venus entering Sagittarius on October 17th. And yes, there's some Gemini influence on the Sagittarius Venus because Jupiter is in Gemini. So this Taurus Moon, well, it kind of has an arc to it. Distracted tangents, rambling about food, being a know-it-all on trivia night, going on and on and on about pointless, inane storylines in the political landscape until someone says, "Hey, I got a better idea. Want to make out?" I will now perform a one-man show to give you a better example of this transit. Here goes. The Sun in Libra with its ruler Venus in Sagittarius is one of the less common Libra Sun and Venus pairings, because Venus is never more than 47 degrees away from the Sun. Venus is usually in Scorpio, Libra, or Virgo with a Libra Sun, because Venus in Sagittarius is at least 30 degrees away from the Libra Sun. Paul Simon has his Sun in Libra and Venus in Sagittarius. His famous duo, Simon and Garfunkel, were signed to the William Morris agency by Wally Amos, the first black talent agent for William Morris. Wally Amos then found Famous Amos Cookies. He had his Mars in the sign of Cancer. Wally Amos passed away a couple of months ago at the age of 88. And eventually a wise-ass woman will say, "Shut the fuck up and let's make out, cookie boy." Venus in Sagittarius, ruling both the Sun in Libra and Moon in Taurus, says, "Look, I'm bored of this. We can keep doing this, sure, but we've got a choice. We can keep eating little fucking cookies, or we can make out, because it's about having the perspective to move on and try out new things oral. Kissing should be very exploratory, trying out a lot of different things and learning new innovative techniques, anything oral and anything moral. So the moral of oral here is to make out for a while, because you are really taking your time to learn if this is something you really want to do. Have fun and see if this is someone you really want to be with and commit to before the Moon moves into Gemini and your hands start fondling things. October 19th to October 21st, 2024. Moon in Gemini, Mars in Cancer. I don't know how some of you mothers do it. Holding a baby and breastfeeding with one hand, sipping a coffee with another hand, posting on Instagram with a third hand. But if you are lucky enough to have a fourth hand, don't press your luck by smoking while breastfeeding. Look, I don't want to sound like I am lecturing you. I mean, I have never given birth. Who am I to talk about how to multitask and deal with stress during the postpartum period? But Gemini does preside over the lungs. And Gemini also presides over the hands, arms, shoulders, ribcage, and pec muscles. And the Moon in Gemini influences the shape of the breast through the Cooper ligaments, named after Astley Cooper, not to be confused with Rick Astley, the never gonna give you up guy. Astley Cooper, breast ligament guy. Rick Astley, never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down and desert you guy. It's the same topic, really. But when Rick Astley sings that line, "When you ask me how I'm feeling," you tell him, fuck how he's feeling. Tell him how you're feeling. Tell him that you're feeling like a moody motherfucker and that he, Rick Astley or Astley Cooper, whatever the fuck his name is, has no right to sing about the shape of your breast, acting like he's the savior for the shape of your breast. Look, we can be moody and we get a moody outburst sometimes, and that's okay. But in all astrological seriousness, this is what Jupiter in Gemini, ruling and squaring Saturn in Pisces, is all about, though. Connecting to different shapes, all different shapes, and being the savior for those that need support. Shapes that need someone or something to support them. So that's really important on October 21st when the Moon goes over Jupiter in Gemini. So the Moon goes into Cancer later on October 21st, and Mars will still be in Cancer, which is extra important because the Sun moves into Scorpio on October 22nd. This is really feeling that we are pouring ourselves into something deeper, some deeper illumination, and the process can make us very emotional, but the caring energy we are pouring out feels fucking amazing as we highlight how we are transforming ourselves. October 24th to October 26th, 2024, Sun in Scorpio, Moon in Leo, and Mars in Cancer. Be proud of your sexuality, and be proud to show off your feelings about your sexuality. Get your circulation going. Show off what you've got and be confident. If you're being open about showing off your breasts and genitals, that's great, but be cool about it, because you are cool. October 26th to October 28th, 2024, Mercury in Scorpio, Moon in Virgo, Mars in Cancer. As intense as our feelings get, we can deal with it, as long as we are aware that our feelings can be very powerful. Don't submerge yourself with junk feelings or with nourishment that has no nutrition. Our gut instinct is really intense now, so only put food in your gut that helps you act on your instinct. October 28th to October 30th, 2024. This is an interesting couple of days for sure. Venus in Sagittarius is ruling the Moon in Libra, and the Moon in Libra is ruling Mars in Cancer, sure. But the Moon in Libra is ruling and also squaring Mars in Cancer, and Jupiter in Gemini is ruling and also opposing the Sagittarius Venus. This is kind of a wild journey of trying to balance our feelings and our actions. We kind of want to be free to go from one side to the other side, however and whenever we feel like it. Trying to care for both sides. Sure, taking your breast out for peace might appeal to exactly 50% of the voters, but you have to learn about the other 50% of the voters too, and learn all about their journey. Maybe their mother smothered them with her breast. Maybe their father beat them with his breast. Now you say, wait a minute, wise ass. Your mom had her Sun and Moon in Cancer. Your dad has his Mars in Cancer. Did this happen to you? Well, those are their placements, true. That didn't happen to me like that, no. So they both were born with quite a few planets in Cancer, and they also have a lot of Libra planets in their charts too. So they would both eat half of their meal and give me the other half of their meals to be nice, and my stomach would feel bloated and unbalanced afterwards. Those are the themes of the Cancer and Libra squares. And I bring this up because with the Moon in Libra and Mars in Cancer, we can nourish our stomach, especially with protein, but we do have to drink water with it and know when we are full so we can stay balanced. And this particular Moon in Libra square Mars in Cancer is about learning how to do that. October 31st, 2025. All right. New Moon in Scorpio and a mutual reception with the Moon in the sign of Scorpio and Mars in the sign of Cancer. Your uterine contractions, your orgasms, can shake a whole nation of ignorant people and sheep. Just fucking destroy them. And then your breasts can nourish and resuscitate them in the afterglow. If you have a prostate, you can eat tomatoes for their lycopene content. If you were born without a prostate, your breasts are the bomb and back again. John Lennon's birthday was October 9th. The birthday boy would have been 84. So if John Lennon was in the Brestles instead of the Beatles, would he take part in the Breasts Not Bombs protest? John Lennon had his Moon in Aquarius, trine his Mars in Libra. I think he would feel like his breasts would be up for a social cause, but he would be a bit indecisive with how he would want to go about it. But if Paul McCartney joined him in a Breasts Not Bombs protest, well, Paul has his Sun in Gemini ruling his Moon and Mars in Leo. So Paul's heart might be into it, and he would dig the theatrical element of it. But John would probably accuse Paul of just latching onto a trend so his breasts can be at the center of attention. Either way, I think saying all you need is love has more universal appeal than saying breasts not bombs. So peace, love, stars, and listen to the Beatles. And bring Brussels sprouts, not alfalfa sprouts, to me at my piano.